Hi there. Today I am actually going to do a video tutorial about how to use layer masks, they're very easy to use and they're extremely useful. So you can use them for a variety of reasons. You can use them to texture. That's usually how I use them, but you can also use them to correct mistakes without necessarily erasing out something. So first I'm just going to quickly show how to select for a layer mask. I use Photoshop CS5, so as far as I know they're all really similar. CS6, CS4, CS3 should all be similar to this, so if you have any of those versions of Photoshop you should be fine. I think CS2 is also going to be pretty much the same exact thing. So I will show you how to use layer masks on this recent painting that I did. I just colored it real quick in Manga Studio and now it needs to be textured, and texturing can add a lot of depth to a painting, and layer masks are absolutely imperative to use when texturing, so we'll just get right to it. So here you have your layers, and this is the background layer, just the flat color, the paint, and here we have the lines. So it depends on where you want the texture. I want a texture on the background and on the actual colors. And layer masks are what it's all about. So choose your texture. They can be stock photos. They can be designs you made already. Just choose something that you want to use with the layer mask. I want to just add a little bit more depth to the background. So this seems like sort of burnt parchment. It looks really cool, so I kind of want it there just to add a little bit more depth to my painting. So what I'm going to do is change the image to black and white. Go to Image Adjustments and make it black and white. You don't have to do this, but it's really good that you do. It allows you to mesh and paint in the texture to the background or whatever you're adding it to. But this is more about layer masks and texturing, so I'm just going to show you how to use layer masks, and I'm just going to happen to be doing a texture with it. So just use the select tool. It's that rectangular tool. You can use that and select the entire picture, texture. Control C. So just hit Control C, go back to the canvas you're working on. And I need to find it. Here it is. So I want this to be on the background, and I'm going to show you how to use layer masks now, for real. Control V. There's the texture. You can zoom out a little bit. Control T. Remember, Control T, free transform is really good to use. Then you can just adjust it. Tug on the corner here, and hit Shift if you want it to stay the same size, if you want to keep the same shape. Otherwise you're just going to be bending it all out of shape, which is fine for this. I don't really care, but if you're copying and pasting and you want to make a design larger, then go ahead and pull it by the corner and hit Shift. So I'm just going to actually press, no, I don't want that, so Control T again, dragging it by the corner, Shift, make it nice and big. Even though this is not specifically a texturing video, but I will make one of those eventually, you shouldn't necessarily, unless you're doing posters, doing graphics, don't necessarily leave it like that. Go ahead and go to your layers. This is the layer. Hide it. You can name it. I could just put, I don't know, just keep track of everything. And now it's time for layer masks. What I like to do is bump that opacity way down, like to 11, 10, 11%. You can hardly even see it at this point. Believe it or not, it does make a huge difference in how your work will look the more you work with this. And here's how you utilize layer masks. A very good way to utilize it. You want to go down to the bottom. See where I'm pointing? It's a square with a circle in the middle. You're going to want to go ahead and see it says add your layer mask. Click it. There's a link in between the two. There's this layer and there's that layer. You want to have the white layer selected. And now we can do some modifying. So actually, I'm not going to do too much modifying on this layer. I'll do more modifying when I'm doing some skin texturing. This is what you do. I use a Wacom tablet. You can use a mouse. You can use any tablet, but that's this type of stylus I'm actually using. I'm using a stylus, not a mouse here, but it doesn't matter except for pen quality. So hit F5. Make sure you have the brushes selected on the side. It's on the left side, just says brush. And choose, I like to use a soft brush, but here is where you can get creative. There are no set rules to this particular section, but you do want to select a brush. I happen to want to select a soft brush. I do want to bump the opacity down and bump the flow down. Flow opacity is at the top. I'll do a tutorial specifically on flow and opacity sometime. But in this case, I'm just showing you how to use layer masks. So I don't want too much of that texture in certain areas. So, oh, I made a mistake here. Going back to the soft brush. I like to hit transfer. You get some really good quality out of that. Now, you want to select the color black if you want to take away detail. See how that's just going away. If I want to get that right back, actually I'm going to bump up the opacity to show you this. See, I took it out. I'm going to actually switch to pure black and pure white. So you want pure white for this, not off-white. It's going to put it right back. It's like you didn't even take it out. But I want the opacity to be really low. So I will show you some real work with the textures and brushes right now. Okay, so now I want to actually texture the Leviathan. I want to actually... I just chose fish scales. I probably will change this later, but this is a good way to show what you can really do with layer masks. So I'm changing it to black and white. Control C. Control V. Alright, so move this. Control T. I just want like this section to be textured. Actually, the part where the light's showing a little bit more. Take the opacity down if you want. I'll leave it a little bit more obvious just because I want to show what you could do. Hit the layer mask. Transfer. And now I want to select black. So I have a black brush. I actually want the opacity and flow to be 100% so that I can get rid of the excess. You're going to want to actually paint this in. This is a really good way to use the masks. So now I have it like that. I don't want it on the eye, and I still have black selected, so that's why I'm taking out all this detail right now. Okay. So now this is how I still have black selected. Now you can kind of lightly, let's zoom in so you can see this. See, I'm taking out the detail now. This is allowing me to really get painterly with it. Now you see I'm actually creating what looks like something that's going to mesh and become a part of the actual painting. And if I decide, oh, I took way too much detail out, it's just too much detail, switch it to 100% white. Bump up the flow and opacity to your comfort level, and you can put it right back with the white. Now I want it to go away. So I put it to black again, and now I'm taking it right out. I love layer masks just for this reason. So that's basically how you use layer masks. I put the brush right back to white, the color white. Select the color black and white on your color palette. And that's easy enough to do. That's pretty straightforward. So now the opacity is lowered. What I could do to further paint this texture in and still use layer mask while doing so is just select the color. You have your brushes. I have it at 56% opacity and 77% flow. There are no set rules to this. Just put it however you'd like, because if you put the opacity and flow down lower, you'll have to have more brush strokes to actually get the color to be painted in. Whereas if it's 100%, I put it to 100%, it's just fully saturated. So I don't want it fully saturated. I want a little bit more control. Just like traditional media in this case. So I'm highlighting the areas underneath the texture so that it looks, now you can start to see that it's really meshing with the painting really well. And now I can go above that layer. I'm just going to add a layer. It's this little piece of paper with the corner turned up. Select that. And I'm choosing a lighter color. Do this however you want. And it will look really great if you paint in. Now I'm painting sort of the individual scales, especially around wherever the light's touching. Then I decided, I'm looking at it, I don't really like that too much. So I can add a layer mask to that layer that I just put the brushes. Can add a layer mask to that. Okay, I don't know what that was. Select the white layer. I have the color black. And I want to take that right out. And I could put it right back with the white brush. See that? And take it away again. Utilizing layer masks gives you optimal control over what you're doing. It allows for more forgiveness with mistakes. And I'm actually going to make the eye glow. So I'll do a different video tutorial on glow, but I'll just show it real quick right now. So this is an empty layer, nothing's on it. Right click. I'm right clicking on my pen actually. There's a right click on the Wacom stylus. Blending options, I want the eye to glow yellow. So go to outer glow, screen, select the color, that's right here. Select whatever color you want, make it saturated. Select a white brush. Keep the opacity pretty low. I have it at like 20%. I have the flow at about 62%. You want to paint in the glow with a white brush. And then just keep adding it in. So now it has a glowing. Actually, I'm going to move this. I'm going to copy layer style. Hide that. Put that over the line art. Paste layer style. That's better. So, there's another way to use masks. I don't know if I like that too much. Add a layer mask. You can add a layer mask on any layer. It's pretty amazing. I love it. Using the black brush, 100% black, to take out some of that detail. Why would I want to use the layer mask instead of the eraser tool? Unless you want to control Alt-Z all day, you may find that you take way too much out and you're not too fond of that. You can make the brush white. You can put it right back. Actually, I'm going to bump up the opacity and flow and it will be right back to the way it was. Black brush. I have it at 100%, so I'll just bump down the opacity and flow. And I like that. It's a little bit more subtle. You can still tell the eye is glowing. And so right now on the white layer, you want to go right back to the clear layer when you want to continue what you were doing on the layer mask. So you wouldn't want to do it here because it will automatically give you just black and white on your palette and you won't be able to color on this layer. And that's pretty much all there is to layer masks. This may seem like a very simple tutorial, and I know I'm focusing on texturing here, and that's primarily how I use layer masks. But you can apply this to anything. You can copy and paste a design onto something, and I think my touch screen's on. And there you go, I did a texture job, a small one, utilizing layer masks. They are your best friend. Layers are your best friend. Keep them separate. Merge them only when you're completely done and save it as a different file. And there you have it. You can apply the layer masks to anything. And if you decide that you don't like the mask period, you've gone too far with it, you've put so many designs on it and messed around with it that you don't even want to bother, so erase it out. All you have to do is delete layer mask. It'll put it right back to normal. I'm Control-Zing on that because I do want that to stay there. And that is my tutorial on how basically to use layer masks. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm more than happy to answer, and I'm more than happy to post another video going more in depth about certain things somebody might be confused on. So yeah, take care and thank you for watching. Have a good one.